Such a small bird.
You guys are so far away, I thought I'd better do that.
It's super weird, isn't it?
I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. We'll begin with a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sarah, would you do roll call, please?
Yes. Brad Crandall.
Here.
Don Horton. Stephen Herbstrith.
Here.
Sarah LeBreton.
Here.
Sarah Jones. Here. Jennifer Sheldon.
Here.
Tim Wood.
All right. Are there any changes to tonight's agenda? No. Okay. Public comments? Any public comments tonight? Okay. We'll go right down to recognitions and presentations. We have a nice presentation, I think, from North Penn.
First of all, before they get started, just really quick, I wanted to acknowledge Ambrosia and Jess have really helped us out by stepping up to be interim co-principals of North Penn for the remainder of the school year and just have done a fantastic job at leading the ship and keeping things stable and smooth for our students and staff. And they didn't sign up to do this presentation, but I think you're both rock stars for taking one for the team. So thank you so much.
Well, welcome. All the way in the back. Can you guys hear us okay? Yeah, I'm Jess Wilkins. I'm actually the Title I intervention teacher at North Penn. And thank you, Trevor. And Ambrosia is the Dean of Students and our behavior interventionist. So together we do parents and discipline and education and subbing, which is really fun. Thank you. And all the things. So this is our team. So on to this. All the great things that have been happening at North Penn, and we're going to show you how we like to have some fun. So this one goes all the way back to January when we had all those snow days. We were off so many days in a row, so we put together a challenge for our families because we want our little Panthers to not just be hanging out at home on video games all day. So we do things like a reading challenge, build a fort, or even cleaning your room and making a donation pile. So that was really cool. So we had a ton of responses, and our kids just had a lot of fun doing that when they were at home. And then our dance glow party, which is put on by our amazing PTO, always a huge success at North Penn every year. And we wanted to give a special shout out to Mr. Matt Kainer, who is a Pennfield parent and community member, and he always donates his time, not only as being our DJ, but he donates his business, the sound and all the lighting for our dance party. So we just wanted to give him a little shout out. So thank you, Mr. Kainer. And this was a huge success. We had a ton of people. All right, and then into reading. March is Reading Month. March is huge for us at North Penn. It's the time of year where we're sort of getting close to the end of the year, and our kids are really starting to take off with their reading. So March, being Reading Month, is perfect for them. Every year we do a different theme, and this year it was Read to Win, and our theme with all the doors being decorated and everything was board games this year. So we were Hungry Hungry Hippos, and we did a bingo sheet where there were challenges, and a child completed a reading challenge every night. They'd get across, and then if they had a bingo at the end of the week, they were able to participate in our reading incentive, which some days it was a board game afternoon or whatnot. And then our winners all around got to have a pizza party. So this year, Mrs. Briggs' second grade class dethroned Mrs. Lovell He's been our winner several years in a row. So that was an intense challenge. So congratulations to Mrs. Briggs' class. These are just some pictures of some of the things that we've done. We have dress-up days down here in the left-hand corner where the teachers doing their live-action Hungry Hungry Hippo game. I chose not to put the video in on that because it was quite silly, but it was fun. And we had guest readers. One of them here in the bottom right was Mrs. Lovell's niece, who's a Battle Creek police officer. So she came, read to the students, and the kids got to check out her cruiser, and I thought that was just the bee's knees. So that was cool. All right, Kids Heart Challenge.
So we had the Kids Heart Challenge. Mr. Peters was kind of cool because he told the kids if they raised $100 or more for the American Heart Association, they could throw a pie in his face in front of the whole school. So those 4 kiddos, they raised over $100 just so that they could throw the pie in Mr. Peters' face. So kudos to those kids and kudos to Mr. Peters for volunteering as tribute. We also had a school fundraiser to raise money for our student activity fund. That included money for field trips, for field day, and any guest speakers that we wanted to come and talk to our kids. So those 3 nuggets raised money and ended up winning a mini fridge and $25 in cash, which is pretty cool. They worked really, really, really hard on that. And so here we have our PBIS, which is Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports. We do a lot here at North Penn with PBIS. It drives a lot of what we do. Part of that is having guest speakers come for assemblies. And the one that we chose to show you was the officer assembly. So those officers came and talked to the kids about how they show their paws as police officers, which was really nice. The kids were involved and they had a lot of questions. But I wanted to show the kids that police officers are safe people to turn to if they are in danger. And so what else do we have here? Deputy Salisbury is part of the Principals 100s Club. So I go around every morning and I pull a pause ticket. And the kids get a pause tickets when they show their paws, practicing kindness, acting responsibly, working hard, and staying safe. Then the pause slip goes into a bin. I go around every morning and I pull a pause slip. If I pull theirs, they put their name on a green slip, and if they fill a row, then they win a special prize. So Deputy Salisbury came and let the kids look at his vehicle, and they were actually able to use the, I don't know what it's called. Thank you. And push buttons in their cars, in his car, so they really enjoyed that. And we also had the Ned Show come and talk to the kids about practicing kindness, and we showed them a lot of really cool yo-yo tricks. So those are just some of the PBIS things we do. And Mr. Lamb, our guidance counselor, had a career day, which was also very nice. Several of these people are actually Pennfield alum. We had the Calhoun County prosecutor, pharmacist, electrician, logger, and a vet tech. And the kids were able to learn how they show their paws in what they do, which the kids really enjoyed.
Solar eclipse. So this was something we just added in because that was a really awesome phenomenon that not just our school but the whole district got to experience. So thank you to Pennfield Schools and Gina Schwartz for getting us our cool viewing shades for that. That was awesome. The kids had the time of their lives legit out there, and we were able to tie it in even. This book here is part of the HMH curriculum. So we did a lot of book reading and everything, and I just wanted to share with you, I had a parent who is also an employee do her child's point of view of the solar eclipse. I just want to share it with you. It's really cool. You're in elementary school. It's a beautiful 70-plus degree day with no clouds in the sky. You've been hearing about this solar eclipse thing for a week. You don't really understand what 96% totality is, but you get cool glasses and you get to go outside with all your friends. It starts to get darker and colder outside. Your school starts to play an old song called Total Eclipse of the Heart over a loudspeaker on the playground. You don't know it, but all the teachers are singing along. You think you're skipping science, but you're really living it. Life is good. And that's exactly what this little nugget here did. He laid back, he put his hands behind his head, and he said, this is a good life. So that was a really cool experience for our kids, and I'm really grateful we were able to participate in that. So thank you. All right, kindergarten registration. So every other year, we rotate between Purdy and North Penn, and it was North Penn's turn this year to host it. And we had a full 2 days last week, Wednesday and Thursday. We had 86 kids come through, incoming kindergartners, so that was really cool. So a shout out to Mrs. Romig, our secretary, and Mrs. Miller over at Purdy, and Sherry Glass, and everybody who volunteered their time to be here and set up and take down and greet all the parents and all the things. It was a really good success. So we've got a couple more days coming up, one in June, one in July, and I know there will be an August one as well. So anybody watching, if they have a kindergartner they need to register, those are some dates for us. Yeah.
So as part of the MTSS framework, we have a survey. The survey includes reading questions and PBIS questions, so behavioral supports. And it's for the parents to take. Last time we had the parents take it during parent-teacher conferences, only 64 parents filled it out. This time we had 115, which is nice. So 93% of the parents noted that we as a staff use positive strategies when talking to the kids about their behavior choices. And 93% also said that they were satisfied with our behavior expectations, which is our pause. The super cool thing that I was really excited about is 89 of those parents noted that their students are reading outside of school. So they are reading menus, they are reading stop signs, billboards. They are excited about reading, and they don't just do it at North Penn, which is exciting.
All right, so our school leadership team is comprised of staff members, and we have some parents on the team, and we encourage any and all community members, anybody can be a part of our school leadership team. It's part of the MTSS framework, which is multi-tiered systems of support. And it encompasses all those things in the little graphic there, academic pieces, behavioral pieces, and attendance pieces. So as part of our, it's always data-driven. Every month we look at our data, we see what we need to improve on or what changes we need to make. In terms of the behavior piece, we have a SMART goal, which is by next year in October, we will raise our Swiss PBIS TFI, we love acronyms in education, from 97% to 100%, which means we just need to share with all of our stakeholders and staff the procedures that we're doing, the restorative practices and stuff that we're doing with our students. So we're just going to rate, that's our behavior piece goal for the school leadership team. And we've got some other pieces on that too. All right, our PLCs were new to North Penn this year, and they were awesome. Those are our professional learning communities, and once a month, our grade levels meet for the morning, and they use that time to, because our curriculum is relatively new, the HMH, to dive into it, explore it, figure it all out, and use it to plan. And the structured literacy piece is also new, and HMH is kind of building their plane as they're flying it, so we're sort of trailing along with that and building it and implementing it as we go. So it's been a really, I got some feedback from the teachers to see what they were thinking about PLCs. They love them, and they believe that they are an absolutely invaluable time that they have to work together as a team. And in our PLCs, we've been creating WIN groups. Again, there's another acronym for you, which stands for What I Need. And every grade level at North Penn has a dedicated 45-minute chunk of time that's called WIN time. And so during that time, our grade levels are divided into groups. And this is for literacy. And the groups are based on skill sets that the students need. So we use our data from Acadience and NWEA and other in-class assessments to create those groups. So this time is really invaluable for our teachers because these WIN groups are changing and evolving every couple months. So it's a really excellent benefit that we've had this year at North Penn. And here's some of our data that shows that. So this is our NWEA data. This is just from fall and winter. We're getting ready to gear up to our next assessment window here soon. But some really good growth that we saw as a whole school. We had a 61% overall growth of people above the 50th percentile. So that's awesome. First grade alone saw a 14% increase in their reading proficiency, which put them in the 73rd percentile overall. And second grade had a 9% increase, which put them in the 64th percentile overall. So some really awesome growth happening at North Penn. And that's on NWEA. The next data piece that we look at is Acadience data. And I know that's new to a lot of people and they don't understand it. So what it is in the top here, this is kindergarten. In the middle here is first grade, and the bottom is second grade. And any student falling in the red or yellow zones are those kids who are below or well below grade level on the skill sets that Acadience tests. Anybody in green and blue are at benchmark or above. So what we want to see, this is on the far left, these are all the beginning of the year. These are the middle of the year. So as you can see, by the middle of the year, those dials have been already pushing out those reds and yellows, and we got a lot more greens and blues, which is awesome. And I can't wait to see what they're going to look like in May. They're going to be even better. So like kindergarten, they went from 42% in green and blues all the way up to 63%. That's huge growth. And first grade doubled from 16% at the beginning of the year to 36% in the green and blue. Second grade from 51 to 62%. And as a whole school, we went from 37% of our students above or well above benchmark to 54%. So those numbers are just going to get better in May, so we're really excited about that. So just a quick peek at what that actually is. So this is a data piece from a kindergartner. Just a typical kindergartner at the beginning of the year. These are some of the things that Acadience measures. This is first sound fluency. So when we gave her a word at the beginning of the year, she wasn't able to tell us what that beginning sound was of that word. She had 0. And so once we started progress monitoring her, and we have that HMH structured literacy piece with direct instruction, she has already met her end of year goal in that. So then we moved her on to our next data point, which was nonsense words. Those are short CDC words that don't make any sense, but they're able to take those sounds, put them together, and make a word. She went from only knowing 2 sounds to already meeting her end of year benchmark goals. And same with her being able to read the whole word. She's already made her end of year benchmark goal. So this is what we're seeing, and it's pretty typical actually in kindergarten. Massive growth with these kindergartners. It's pretty awesome. And this is a second grader, just a quick example. This second grader started out here with her nonsense words, only 15 sounds. This here is what we call an intervention line. That's when she joined Title I interventions. So she got an explicit direct instruction program, and boom, her growth just went bananas. And so we've already discontinued her in this and moved her on to the next data point, which is oral reading fluency. So massive growth there. It's pretty awesome. All right.
Swiss is the platform we use to gauge behaviors. And when a student is struggling, a teacher will fill out a referral, and typically I or they will enter it into Swiss. Swiss is amazing because it can help us gauge when a student is struggling. Are they struggling at the same time every day? If so, what do we need to do to help this nugget so they're not struggling at that time every single day? And we also use it as a whole building. Are there more behaviors at this time than there are this time? What can we do at this time to help curb those behaviors? So we also implemented a check-in, check-out form with several of our high flyers. And I've noticed since we've done that, with the exception of February, our referral count has actually gone down, and significantly in April. I know we're only halfway through the month, but this is huge. And so if you look down here, one thing to know is the teachers are actually using Swiss more this year than they were last year. So we are going to have more referrals, but the percentages are down with 0 to 1 from 72 to 68%. And then the high flyers, that's also down from 12 to 11. So the systems that we have in place for PBIS and Tier 2 are actually working, which is awesome. With attendance, our daily average is 91%. This actually makes me super happy because North Penn got hit really hard with the flu and all the other things. And so we had a lot of our nuggets missing. So to have a 91% is awesome. We also had a 96% attendance at parent-teacher conferences, which is really nice. We do have incentives in place for attendance. Full Blast actually donated 4 certificates for kids that had perfect attendance. And so these are 4 nuggets that won those gift certificates. And McDonald's was also gracious enough to donate some desserts. So that's pretty nice.
All right. Just wrapping it up. So we have a lot of parents that always ask us how they can volunteer at North Penn. We have a million opportunities. These are just to name a few. We always need lunch and recess support help. In the summertime, being out here, we get a lot of critters and stuff in our landscaping. We get a lot of weeds, so any landscaping help would be awesome. And our school leadership team. We welcome parents, we welcome grandparents, whoever, community members who want to be a part of the team that makes school-wide decisions. Welcome on the team. And classroom support. We always need reading buddies. We have people who come in and give spelling lessons. Spelling tests to help out our teachers, which is super awesome. And all kinds of other volunteer opportunities. And then lastly, we wanted to give a shout out to our PTO because they're amazing people and they take such good care of us as teachers and our students. They feed us during parent-teacher conferences. They give us all the love and shower us with all the things during Teacher Appreciation Week. And they do our parties, our trunk or treat, our workshop, all the things. So thank you to our PTO. And then if anybody needs to visit us, we are at North Pennfield Elementary on our Facebook page. And I'm going the wrong way. Oh man, oh man, oh man, get there! Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. You did a fabulous job. And I thought I heard something like you don't like public speaking, but you're both so good at it. Thank you.
Well, that was really excellent. And thanks for explaining over and over again to dumb people like me all the acronyms. Because, you know, we don't know those things inside and out like you guys do. And you did just a great job of explaining them so they're easy to follow along with. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving along. Angina's going to give a presentation on the ISD budget, correct?
Quick spiel.
Yes.
You've all received a copy, and this is an annual approval that they ask us to approve their budget. So if you look in a few pages, you'll see looks very similar to what I asked you guys to approve when I do a budget revision, as far as the same structure. But on the total general fund budget, you'll see the one with the arrow. We're at the 24-25, so this is for their next year budget. And you'll see we have it, they have it broke down just like we have ours broke down with our revenue between the local sources, state sources, federal sources, and same with the instructional versus basic programs, added needs, and the support services. So at the bottom of this page, you will see that they are requesting approval of $46,373,620 in expenditures. With this, oh, and their revenue was $46,758,729. So between the revenue and the expenditures, they are looking to increase their fund balance by $385,109. And that would leave them June 30th of 2025 with a fund balance of $13,284,574. So that's all their general fund. That's like the summary of everything. When you look back, there's multiple pages below that. Then they go and they break it down by their operating, their special projects, and their revolving. So the special projects are like our grant funds, where you receive in your certain revenue for certain expenditures, and they equal out. So that's that one. Their operating is just like operating their services. So those are, you know, their day-to-day operations, their buildings, their staffing, anything that's not like grant funded. The final one that they have in there is a general fund revolving account. And that, the easiest way that I can explain that, it's kind of like our student activity accounts. They bring in money for like a certain project, and then they can spend that money out, but they can continually keep that balance going as time goes on for those projects or the areas that they raise that money for. Outside of that, I'll like answer any questions if you have any questions, and if I don't know the answer for you on something specific, I can always reach out to them and definitely get back to you. I know there's a resolution later on, and there was also, they put a profile in there of their partnerships and who they partner with. They've also done a full presentation of this budget at CASBA, and Dawn, I believe, is our representative that attended that, so she would have received the full presentation from them on this budget. But again, this is an annual ask that it's part of the law that local districts have to approve their budget annually. So we're just asking, I think we're asking you just to review it this month and approve next month, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So if anybody has any questions?
Or if you think of any questions between now and May, we're happy to answer them.
Thank you.
All right, now we have the student representative report, and Cadence is unable to make it tonight because she's at a soccer game. So I want to say that the girls' soccer team is off to a 4-0 start, so we're doing well. And 7.2, we're on to the superintendent's report.
Awesome, thank you. So just a few things to report out on. This week we sent out communication to families regarding the operating millage renewal. There's also a mailer that went out to all of the people that are on our mailing list that our Panther publication goes to within Pennfield Township to inform them of the upcoming millage renewal. We've fielded a couple of questions from people. The ballot language isn't necessarily written in a way that it's super understandable, and because it only comes around every 6 years on the ballot, I think that people forget what it's for. but it is only on non-homestead properties, which are people's second residences, or a commercial property would fall under that as well. So it's not a tax that is paid by individuals with a primary residence. The money that we collect off of our non-homestead tax is the only tax money that we get that goes towards our operations. So the money that we get in our per pupil allocations, the state of Michigan assumes that we're collecting 18 mills in non-homestead property tax. And if we don't collect that, that doesn't mean that they pay us more out of the school aid fund. We have to take that loss. So just in terms of people are asking you, is this a tax that I have to pay? It's only on the non-homestead properties. It is passed. I went back and looked at the voter records from the last 4 elections. It's passed every single time. And so hopefully headed into the May 7th election, we'll have the same outcome there. The other thing I wanted to say is just a shout out to Battle Creek Christian and the Learning Zone. I was really excited to hear about how our kindergarten roundup went this year. We had 2 full days. All of the appointments were taken. It's really great for us to know who our incoming kindergartners are. And so I could tell that there was a lot of communication that went on behind the scenes, so that, and they definitely facilitated that with their families so that they were prepared to sign up for an appointment and come here and be all ready for kindergarten. So that's really exciting. I wanted to give an update, a safety update. Unfortunately, last week we did have a student that was struck by a vehicle on Pennfield Road as they were crossing the street, and wanted to let you know that I've had several conversations with many different people in the community. Sheriff Hinckley has been very supportive of doing whatever he can to support us and working to get more safety protocols in place. He's working to increase patrolling of the road, and also willing to advocate for us at the state level. If you remember last year, we had an engineering firm come in and conduct a safety review for us of the area and provide some recommendations. And we didn't have great enough participation of walkers to go after the Safe Routes to School grant, but we're going to revisit that and work to try and get additional funding through the state of Michigan so that we can get sidewalks on both sides of the road. I also plan to reach out to the township supervisor so that we can include them in that work as well. Unfortunately, it's not an overnight fix. We know now that this has happened more than once that, that unfortunately with the volume of traffic that we have on Pennfield Road, just how important it is that our students are well trained and following the expectations, and that we're vigilant and present, and regardless of the time of the school year, really making sure that we're supervising kids. So in the interim, our walkers at all buildings are not walking without adult supervision across the street. So at the high school, there is a meeting location for walkers to meet up with one of our employees to be escorted across the street instead of taking it into their own hands and crossing at their leisure. Bond update. I did meet with the facilities committee last Friday and provided a little bit of an update with where we're at in terms of budget with the bond. We're doing well. We had to put several things on hold, barring the redesign, the mechanical redesign at Dunlap to be able to incorporate new boilers and air conditioners. And we're not quite out of the woods yet with that because most of that will be taking place this summer. But we know enough now about the cost associated with that project that we've been able to move forward with some of the things that we were not going to be able to do, like replacing chalkboards with whiteboards and fresh paint in our classrooms on the walls and on our ceilings, and replacing more floors than we had originally anticipated we would be able to do. So that's exciting, but definitely not without a cost. So I'd love to give a shout out to all of our staff that have been team players, and the inconvenience of construction and having to be flexible and move. It's definitely not an easy thing, and that's going to be ongoing for the next year, and just looking forward to coming out of that. One thing that we uncovered in exploring the next phase of construction was our bus garage. And so in the original bond application, there was very minimal amount of money that was allocated to renovating the bus garage. And certainly you can shift around things and reallocate. But when we did our walkthrough, we learned that there are several structural concerns with our bus garage. It is very old and outdated, and it needs more tender loving care than we had originally anticipated. So the next thing that we're going to tackle with that is moving forward with design and development to redo the inside of the bus garage. I would encourage you to stop by there so you could see the before. I'll be sure to get some pictures. But it is definitely in need, and the exterior needs new metal and new, I cannot think of the name of what the things are on the trusses. The structural part of the bus garage, I'm totally blanking on what it's called. What? The steel beams all need to be replaced, I think is the best way to sum it up. I'm very sorry, I cannot think of what the name of it is. So at any rate, we will be coming back to the board once we've got the design done to seek approval for moving forward with that. We've also been exploring the church and what is needed in order to make that a functional space. It is a commercial building and it is a tri-level, and so that poses some additional cost to bring the building up to code. It requires things like a lift. It requires a new fire suppression system. And so those, quickly add up in cost. And so the preliminary budget that we received to turn that into usable office space was about $1.5 million, which is a lot for the amount of space. So our next option is really to explore whether we maintain the building, it needs a new roof, it needs to be sealed and caulked up, or to demolish the building and create additional green space for the district. So we're exploring that a little bit more, and we'll be back with a recommendation around what to do with that. Additionally, in the last couple of weeks, information went home to families about the reorganization of the district for next year in order for bond work to continue and for us to actualize more savings, get more bang for our buck in terms of the projects that we're able to complete. And in that letter, invited families, or parents and our staff to sign up to participate in either a parent stakeholder or staff stakeholder group to work through the proposal of permanent reorganization of the district to bring K2 under one building K1 into one building together, 2 through 4, 5 through 7 at the middle school, and then 8 through 12 at the high school. And so I will be setting up those meetings for the first week of May. I had 3 parents sign up and 3 staff. So I think that I'll relaunch the link one more time just to see if we can get any other perspectives and before we get started on that. Any questions? Okay.
All right. Next, we need to approve the consent agenda. So do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. 8.2, need to approve the minutes.
That's all.
That's all part of the
Oh, it's all-
consent agenda.
okay, got it.
So you skip down to
10.
Jeez, it's too easy.
Right there. No, further down, sorry, right there.
All right, next, 10.1, approval of March bond bills. Do I have a motion to approve those?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Ten point two, approval of asphalt work for summer of 2024. Superintendent Lemmer is recommending that the board approve the proposed asphalt work for the summer of 2024 at the high school and the bus garage in the amount of $358,500 out of bond funds. Do I have a motion to approve that?
Motion to approve.
Support.
First of all, is there any discussion on that? Sorry. Hearing none. And motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Just to let you know with this, these were originally alternates that were bid when we went out for bid pack 1. So a long time ago, I can't even remember, that would have been 21, I think 2021. And but we didn't accept those in the original scope of work. So anytime that you're going to go back and do something like that, that's why we're coming back. There's no new design work or anything like that. It was just that because we were concerned about how tight the bond was, elected to do a small amount. So now we'll be able to actually do what was the original intent, the entire parking lot at the high school and the bus garage.
10.3, approval of purchase of Reed 180 for middle school for 24-25. The administration is recommending that the bond approve the purchase of Reed 180, an evidence-based literacy intervention for struggling adolescent readers for the 24-25 school year. Due to not having year-end data yet, there are 2 quotes we are seeking approval on, but we'll only need to process one of them. The funds for the reading intervention will come from funds received from the state earmarked for reading interventions. A motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Support.
Second.
There's a motion and support. Any discussion?
Just a question. Is the 2 quotes just based on the amount of students that we would need to purchase it for? I assume that in the year-end data, but just wanted to clarify. Okay.
Correct.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Ten point four, approval of bid for new exterior and interior signage. Superintendent, District of Finance and Operations, and Director of Facilities are recommending the board approve a bid for new exterior and interior signage in the amount of $152,591 from Universal Signage out of bond funds for the completion of the project at the end of the summer of 2024.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion, we have support.
Support.
Okay, do we have discussion? Did you want to say anything about that?
So yes, so this is, well, you can tell driving through the district that a lot of our signage is quite faded or, outdated. So that'll be very nice on the outside of the buildings to have updated signage. Also, it'll include on the inside of the buildings, making sure that all of our classroom numbers have 3-dimensional signs on them in addition to the flat-facing signage, which is a security feature that was recommended in our study that we had done this summer. It'll also make sure that on the exterior that we don't just have signage like you're at the North Penn Elementary School. It'll also include making sure that all of our exterior doors match the geomapping study that we had done last spring as well, so that if we were ever in a situation of needing to work with first responders, that they would know exactly where to access our buildings. So the quote is for the entire district and bus garage. And in the proposal, you can see the breakdown by building.
Okay, thanks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Motion carries. Board comments. Just wanted to thank Jess and Ambrosia for putting on such a good presentation for us and for hosting this tonight and putting up with me. So, anybody else? Meeting adjourned.
Access Vision. Your voice, your community.